Sorry.
Yeah, no, it's
slightly
guys,
delayed.
We've got a pretty good excuse for being late this week.
Yes, a special guest, very special
Extremely
guest.
special guest. So good to have Chris with us in town from Mizuno Golf. What's your official role or title right now at Mizuno?
So I'm officially the product and marketing manager of Mizuno USA right now. Yes, sir.
And before that, you were.
I've been a club engineer for the last probably 15 years. So I've recently switched over to the dark side, if you will, but I'm still very heavily involved in the product, helping to drive the direction of it and all that stuff. So it's good.
And what is kind of how does that shaped your change your day to day sort of. Because you're such a hands-on guy, your product is everything to you.
Right.
You love that side of things. How's that changed?
So my day-to-day is, there's a lot more spreadsheets involved, I'll say that, but I think that's everybody. Oh, I love a spreadsheet. The engineer in me still loves a spreadsheet. So no, it's a lot more of analysis of, where we're going, the direction that we're going and everything. But it's really good. I've actually enjoyed it. So it's a different switch. I still work and meet with the R&D team all the time, but ultimately there's there's a little bit more, I guess, holistic view of everything than getting deep down into each individual product. So I'm still working with the team, but I'm not doing as much hands-on engineering.
Nice. Well, guys, today we had a bunch of things on the agenda with Chris. We really wanted to touch on the new golf ball.
Yeah.
We wanted
golf ball.
Yep.
We wanted to test that. Obviously a new introduction to the North American market.
Sorry, someone just gave me a good point. I have the mic set on the wrong setting. Sorry.
I like it.
Well, it's because there's three of us today. Guys, let us know if that's better. I don't have the owner's manual in front of me. One of these is the right one.
We'll be fine.
Yeah, they probably can only hear one of those.
How's that sounding, guys?
And I'll mention also at the same time, Chris is going to join us for about the next 15 minutes. So if you can keep your questions specifically for Mizuno and Chris, he's going to join us for a little bit, and then he's got to take off. Spent the whole day with us, so
yeah,
it's been a fun day though.
We're getting lots of comments saying that the sound is now better.
It's now
let us know if that's good enough. Can you guys hear us?
Hopefully you can hear it all right.
Hopefully we can hear us
better.
Bandit said
there should be a picture of 3 people on this mic set. That'd make it a lot easier for me. Fran says it sucks. Okay, Fran, tell us how you really feel. There we go. Let's try this one.
Got it.
People seem to know this mic better than us. Okay, hopefully that is the 3-directional.
Sound is good.
All right, excellent.
Ireland says it's good.
Okay. Well, this is the first time we've done a 3-man Q&A.
It is the first time.
So that's all right.
That's very good.
A little learning experience. So we done the ball, we done the woods, we done 3D Optimizer. That was fun.
Right, that was.
We really looked at, or we're keen to look at that one with Chris, and because so many of you guys were asking about it.
Probably mark that as the number 1 or 2 most requested thing. I'm not even exaggerating. That and personal launch monitors are by far the most asked about things. So, won't spoil it, but I think the video was very interesting. I had no expectations going in. I don't know if you did or not, but it was cool. That'll come out maybe later in the week. We'll have to figure. No, we're gonna do that one first, weren't we?
Yeah, we are going to
earlier in the week.
We're going to try and get that one out first. When we done a little what's in the bag for Paul Casey, obviously off the back of his win yesterday, which was great to see. So it
was a good day. Full
productive
day. Lots going on.
Productive day.
Good timing to be here. It felt like so. This was great.
I know, absolutely. No, it's kind of we're just getting obviously the season's kicking off up here, Chris, right now, and the weather is just turning. Thankfully, I know you guys are getting into the nice season down there.
We are.
Everything's in full bloom. I hear the pollen is pretty rough.
It's about to start getting really rough.
So allergy season.
We've had enough rain that has held us off, some of it off. I'm in Atlanta, so as we round up towards Augusta, it's always getting pretty down there. So this past weekend was really nice.
Wow.
So.
Okay, I'm
going to take some of it north.
Right.
Yeah, please. Some questions for Chris.
Yes.
From another Chris. Chris is asking if you, I have a feeling you're going to say no, any hints for the new MP line in 2020?
So what I'll say is, I can only say so much. I love the question, but what I'll say is that it's not exactly what you'd expect from Mizuno, which is good. So we're trying to, and hopefully you've seen that from us over the last couple of years, is that we've been very predictable in terms of our launches, our launch timing, what's come out and everything for the last number of years. And we've been trying to switch it up a little bit. So yes, there's some new product coming this fall. No, it's not going to be exactly what you expect it to be. So that's all I can say, but hopefully it'll be stuff that that fits everybody's needs a little bit better. So we're very excited about what's coming.
Well, in a world of analytics, which is where we are now, you know, we learn better about the trends and kind of when and patterns and that sort of thing. So, you know, that's a great point you make on product launch and that sort of thing. So when's an optimized time to launch something? For
sure.
So yeah, we're all keen to see that.
Very cool.
Okay.
From another Chris. So this is a good question. Chris is asking about, and you guys, I'll shortcut this because you just did an interview, a lot about the tour presence.
Okay.
But Chris is asking, obviously, a ton of tour players using Mizuno irons.
Right.
So are you actively trying to expand your tour staff, or are you sort of, is that like a current initiative for you, or nothing more than you used to?
You know, it's funny. It's nothing more than we used to.
Okay.
However, the tour is a different place than it was 5 years ago. It used to be that there were 5 players at a given tournament who were approachable, who had open spots in their bag. Right now, because of the what Nike's done with their contracts, what TaylorMade's done, how they've shifted, all these other companies, there's now a dozen or 2 dozen players at any given tournament who have open spots. They aren't contracted to play clubs. So while we aren't being more aggressive going after more guys, we're still going after all the guys who are open. So I'll say it's not really a shift in direction. It's just a shift in what's available.
Yeah, it's interesting.
So a lot of that has played into our hands. And it's amazing how much we get people coming to us. So a lot of times we'll sit back and wait for them to come to us, and it's amazing at the end of the season when contracts are about to expire, how often people fill up our vans. So during the playoffs and stuff, our vans are packed.
Really?
So it's pretty cool.
That sounds really
That's
cool.
very cool.
It's a great question.
Specific question about Hot Metal and Hot Metal Pro.
Okay.
So give us kind of the Cole's notes of why the Pro came out. This question specifically about shot shaping.
Yeah.
I have a feeling I know the advantage would be, but take us through someone who wants to move the ball both directions. Why would the Pro potentially be better?
So the Hot Metal Pro was really a reaction to, you talk about the analytics that go on, the analytics of the industry and what are the trends in the market and what are the growing categories. And that player's distance category is one that really has blown up over the last number of years.
Hasn't it?
We were just talking about that the other day.
I know.
I mean, if you look back, I think we did an analysis the other day. In 2015, clubs that we would classify as players' distance represented about 5% of the market, and right now represents about 30% of the market. So it's really blown up. And we've always had the JPX forged model, whether it was the 850 forged, the 900 forged, the 919 forged. We've had those in there in that market, but at the same time, because they're forged, one piece forged, they can only speak to so much of it because you're not going to get the distance out of boron that you would out of some of the other distance generating technologies.
That right? That's interesting.
So you can get a little bit more distance, but you can only get a COR around 0.81, 0.815, as opposed to like our chromoly where you can get close to 0.83. So ultimately, the Hot Metal Pro came from wanting to expand our players' distance models. So between the Hot Metal and the Hot Metal Pro, exact same category or exact same construction, it's just a spec change. It's a smaller head, thinner sole, thinner top line, so it will be more workable. But really, if you're a player who wants to work it both directions, the 919 Forge is actually probably a better option for that.
Because it's just more neutral.
Because it's more neutral. It's still a larger head on the Hot Metal Pro that's still designed with a very high moment of inertia, so it goes pretty straight.
Ian's got a 4-iron of that, and he's loving it.
Love it, absolutely love it. Yeah, I mean, it shocked me how far I could kind of get with it, and it really is. I actually had to dial the loft back a little bit.
So that's a good segue because someone's asking about that right now. I was hoping you'd say that. So Ken has a 4 and 5 iron, Hot Metal Pro, and he's asking if he can do what you just said. So can he? Basically, can he weaken or should he dial back the lofts on those? And will that create any bounce issues, or are they designed enough so that they can be weakened a bit to blend with like an MP18?
So it is a 1-to-1 on loft and bounce. So if you take it a degree weaker, you're going to add a degree of bounce. Overall, though, if you look at the trailing edge of the Hot Metal Pro, we tried to put a nice size bevel on that. So if you're adding 1 or 2 degrees, I think it's still going to be very playable, particularly on the long iron side. So I wouldn't have too much concern. If you try to go much more than that, then you might start to have a little bit more, dragging behind it. So if it's 1 or 2 degrees, by all means, make it happen.
Right, for sure. And I think, going for those gapping sessions is obviously the key for that, right? Where you can go, and if you do want to sort of cross over 2 different heads from 2 different kind of models, and you want to see how they combine together, just go for a session where you hit them all.
Would you say it's more than likely that a person, when they blend into the more game improvement style, they're probably going to weaken those longer irons to match up with the rest of the set, or are they just as often strengthening the top end of the bag, I guess, or the short end?
It'll depend. Look at what we saw today on just the changes that a golf ball made. Mm-hmm. So there's all these sorts of variables that go in that kind of will dictate whether we're adding or subtracting loft, whether we're going towards the lofts on the weaker set or the stronger set. So,
but keeping in that 2 degree window keeps the performance of the club
as intended.
Gotcha.
And what I'd say is, depending on how many you're adding on the top end, like if you're adding 2 or 3 clubs on the top end, you might want to back off a couple of them to blend the set.
Gotcha.
But if you're just adding a 4 iron as your longest club, maybe having a little bit longer gap in there is not necessarily a bad thing.
Not a bad thing at all.
So you might not necessarily want to dial it back.
We were chatting a little bit about that with Paul Casey's bag today about his irons are designed for the specific intended job, and
that's right.
He has his 3 iron that's intended for one roll and a 4 iron that's intended for another, and his 5-2 wedge is intended for consistency and balance, and that's treating every club like in its own unique
fit each club is what
fit
you
each
say,
one,
right?
and everyone has its own role to play within the bag.
Right.
Very cool. So actually, Chris got quite a few people asking what you play.
What I play?
I was going to ask you that earlier on.
So my bag, it's from top to bottom. So I've got a.
Are they Mizunos?
It's all Mizunos. It's all Mizunos. I've got an ST190 driver, the non-adjustable one, the non-G version.
Yep.
I've got that with the Fujikura shaft. It's actually a one-off shaft, which I kind of like
cool.
being able to have, just because I got a buddy, Jeremy Butler, over there. He made me a one-off, which I love.
That's cool.
I've got an old school. It's funny. We were talking about having current stuff versus old stuff earlier. My 3-wood is actually an MX 700, if you remember going way back in the day. But it's one that I've actually bent flat and bent open. So it does what I want. With the 3-wood, I just want it to do what I want it to do. I'm not looking for anything different out of a 3-wood.
I feel like we hear this a lot. The 3-wood's stubborn, right? Like you don't want to
very
change it.
stubborn.
If you get it where you want it.
You're that way too.
I'm not.
Yours, right?
I mean, I've got 2013 old school 3-wood that's just not coming out my bag anytime
Exactly.
soon.
I don't want to mess with that. I've got a JPX EZ hybrid, a 19 degree. Again, it just fills a gap. And then from there, I've got 919 tours in the 9 iron through 5 iron, and I've actually have the MP H5 in the 4 and 5. The H5 got up a little bit higher for me, gave a little bit more.
Easy to launch that one, wasn't it?
Easier to launch than the MMC right now. The MMC Fly High is a little bit too penetrating for me. So particularly in the 3 iron, it was hitting bullets, which was great off the tee. But ultimately, I have those, if I want to hit it into a par 5 or something like that. And then I've got T7 wedges on the 46, 51, 58, and I've got a Bettinardi putter. Nice little setup.
On the T7 wedges, is there kind of thoughts of bringing in a kind of a next generation to the T7s? Is that kind of coming up fairly soon?
So we've had the trend of launching a S-type and a T-type for a number of years, and we like I said earlier, we're trying to buck some of those trends right now. So this year we didn't come with a new T-series. A lot of that is because we're trying to space out our launches just to make more sense with what they're launching up against. So this was a JPX launch year, and the S18 wedge, a little bit larger footprint, kind of fits with that better. We'd always almost been off cycle with the T and the S, with the T launching with JPX and the S launching with MP. So a little bit of that is a shift in that. So our new wedge that we will have coming this fall is, I'm not going to tell you exactly what it is, but it is more along those lines, for sure.
Nice.
Lots of little secret tips coming out there. Got quite a few people asking about the shaft optimizer and the ball, so just want to make sure everyone knows.
I know.
Filmed a video on both of those today.
It's tough because I don't want to give away too. Cause
I don't want to give away anything.
There was some serious punchlines on that.
I don't want to give away anything. I just want to say we did it.
Exactly. That's about, guys. That's honestly where we should leave that, because you guys will see some things in that to be honest, have shocked me.
You were definitely kind of, your eyes were wide.
The golf ball one was a shocker. I'm not going to lie. You guys are going to hear some things about golf balls that you haven't heard before, and you'll start to question your decision making around what golf ball you play.
I did.
It adds 40 yards to your drive.
If combined with a Mizuno driver.
It was closer to 50. I'm pretty sure. That's funny. A lot of questions coming in just about, I guess, an MP line and a JPX line of irons that maybe in head size are similar. Where do you differentiate between, like you pick two in the line, like MP18 SC.
Yep.
The comparable one is the
919 Tour.
So take those two for me and sort of who kind of fits into which one or who's it intended for?
Yeah, it's funny. Those two clubs, they definitely step on each other's toes. There's no doubt about that.
Yep.
The way I like to describe it better between an MP and a JPX, as opposed to any sort of performance thing, it's more a design philosophy.
That's interesting.
So on the MP side, if you look at an MP golf club, they all look they're a nod to the past, very traditional, very clean lines, very simple. Nothing too out there. Like, it looks like clubs that could have been made 100 years ago, but we're putting new technologies behind them. On the JPX side, we're willing to take a couple more risks. So on the JPX side, on the 919 Tour, you can see where we really cut into the heel, removed a lot of material there, placed a ton on the toe. Ultimately, performance-wise, we did want to have a little separation. So the biggest thing you'll see between those two is that the MP18 SC, the sole's a little bit wider, center of gravity, it's going to launch the ball and spin it a little bit more than the 919 Tour.
Oh, okay.
I think that's why I liked it so much.
Is the Tour, sorry for my ignorance, but is the Tour the really thin one?
Tour's really thin.
The sort of almost a blade kind of thing?
Exactly.
And I started this year with that intention. I think I said that to you. I said this year I was going to play 919 Tour. And then I hit it and went, okay, I really like it. And then I hit split cavity and it just fell into a slightly better spin window, flight window for me. And I could kind of get exactly the change I was trying to make.
Right.
And it was absolutely perfect for me.
And it's funny, what we've seen, like the trends on tour, is that somebody who wants it to flight it a little bit higher, get a little bit more spin out of their irons, the SC is better.
Really?
However, you see players like a lot of the guys with a ton of ball speed, the Brooks Koepka, the Kevin Tway,
right.
Those are guys who they bring a ton of speed to the table and they want something to flatten out, and they've tended to land in the 919 Tours. So there really is a difference in terms of the design philosophy as well as the performance.
And just to follow up on that, I had a specific question about the MMC model.
Okay.
So the MMC model is obviously a more forgiving model than the JPX, or sorry, they were asking about the JPX Tour, 919 Tour and the MMC. So are they similar in that vein? Like the MMC is a little bit larger?
MMC is a little bit larger, a little bit longer from heel to toe. The top line is going to be a little bit wider. And it's designed, again, if the SC is for a more penetrating ball flight, or sorry, the 919 Tour is more penetrating, the SC is a tick above that, and the MMC is going to be a tick above that. So it's going to be a little bit more height.
Awesome. Do you want to take a couple more?
Yeah, absolutely.
You okay for time?
Yeah.
All right.
You tell my
The
ride
boss
has
is over
to
there. That's funny. Let me find you another one.
Yeah.
You guys were talking about putters. There's putters in Japan, but not in North America?
That's right. There's putters in Japan, and there are putters in Europe as well.
Oh, in Europe, okay.
So yeah, there are a couple. They're forged, they're milled, they're really nice, just simple, clean, classic designs. There's been talk of, how do those expand over here?
To bring them over kind of thing?
Yeah, there's always talk about that, and it's still up in the air right now. But ultimately, what's funny is how knowledgeable people are of Mizuno's line. To what you talk about, Mizuno having just diehard fans. People understand that we have this stuff, and there's a market for it. It's just at what point do we tap into that market?
Yeah,
Gotcha.
no question. There's a few questions I saw on Eddie Pepperell.
Oh
I just saw one about that.
See that?
Yeah.
And how he's been, and he's kind of almost becoming a bit of a kind of cult figure.
Eddie is awesome.
It doesn't hurt when he plays so well.
Right.
He players. I mean, he kind of backdoored into that conversation on the back nine, didn't he?
He did. Well, and he did the exact same thing at the British Open last year.
That's
So
right.
he posted a low number, and it looked like it might hold up for a while. Eddie is a unique player. He's got a different mindset out there than a lot of guys. He's got confidence. He knows his game, and he knows he's got enough game to win. Where it's nice to have someone like him. I mean, his interview after he posted a good round I think it was the opening round maybe it was at the Honda. It was either the opening round or the second round. He said, "I'm going to win this tournament," which is cool to have somebody with that kind of like drive.
He said that
he did.
on his interview.
It was either Friday, either Thursday or Friday. He's like, "I think I'm going to win this tournament,"
That's funny.
which is cool. I mean, he's a guy. He's definitely a personality. You watch him on Twitter, and
He's a character,
He is
that's
a
for
character.
sure.
sometimes it needs to put some not safe for work hashtags on that. But at the same time, he's very honest. He speaks his mind. He doesn't. he doesn't toe the corporate line. He you know Eddie, like he's very genuine, and he's the same way with clubs too. He'll tell you what he feels about them. He'll tell you what he likes, what he doesn't like, and ultimately that's what you like when you're working with somebody, because it doesn't. He's not telling you what you want to hear. He's telling you what you need to hear.
It's not doing you any favors in development if he just says, I like them, I like them, I like them.
Exactly right. So he's really good, and he's a great asset, and we think that it feels like every tournament he plays in, he gets more and more well known, and I think that's going to continue to.
You keep seeing him on leaderboards. It's only a matter of time, you would think, before he picks something. Maybe in North America.
Yep.
We have a ton of kind of viewers and followers in the UK. I know that Alex on off weeks does his tour experience days and that sort of stuff. Can you maybe talk a little bit about that stuff and where someone can go for a really unique Mizuno experience? Yeah,
so that's a really cool thing that they do over in the UK, is they do have basically the tour van parked at Bearwood Lakes, and basically you can go there and meet with Al or with Matt and go through a fitting and really get your clubs built right there on the spot. In the US, we don't have anything that's a direct competition to that or direct parallel to that.
So tough with just the size, just the geography of it. You know, if it's parked, down in the south of England versus being parked somewhere in the US, it's tough, isn't it?
So we don't have a home base so much like that. But what we're trying to do is we're trying to team up more with the unique fitting centers and the guys who really do the best jobs. I mean, that's part of why we appreciate you guys too, because what you guys can do, and it brings in all the tour level fitting capabilities, and with not only Mizunos but with everybody, and put everybody in the mix. So we'll, through our website, you can find places to go and get fit, but we really don't have anything that's an exact complement to what Al and Matt do over there.
It's really cool.
It's really cool.
Yeah.
It is cool.
No, I love it.
Okay. Let's take. Just to follow up on tour.
Yes.
A couple people asking about Luke Donald, probably because he had a good week just recently. What is your experience working with Luke? He's been a Mizuno staffer for
He has been. It's been about 12 years, I think.
Who was his contract prior to?
Hogan.
It was Hogan.
I don't think I've ever seen him with anyone.
So he came out, he played Mizuno through college. He signed with Hogan right out of school. And actually his very first win was with Hogan.
Yeah.
And then they got acquired by Callaway, and then we signed him, I believe it was in 2004, 2003, somewhere around there is when we signed him. He's been great to work with.
Yeah.
And again, like I was talking about Eddie, Luke knows what he likes.
Right.
And Luke knows what he likes almost on a different level than some of the other people, where Luke even knows what he likes in terms of like sounds. So a lot of that, nothing feels like a Mizuno, and the Mizuno sound and feel that you get, a lot of that comes directly from Luke Donald.
Right.
We know the frequency he likes a 6-iron to vibrate. So it's like we can literally dial in a 6-iron. We've done tests with him where we've made one that vibrates at a higher frequency, at a lower frequency, and he'll be like, well, I want 9200 hertz. Like that's what he likes.
Yeah.
Whether he knows that number or not, I have no idea, but we definitely do. So it's cool because he's got such touch, and the feel that he has, the feedback he gives is phenomenal. The short game feedback he gives is just out of this world. I mean, there's nobody with a better short game than him. One of the cool stories I'll tell is we had him and Brian Gay on staff at the same time. Two guys, phenomenal short games.
Yeah.
And that was right when the groove rule changed.
Right.
And literally our grooves on our T7 and S18, our quad cut grooves, those are a direct result of Luke Donald and Brian Gay testing. How much they could tell a difference between a full shot and a partial shot.
Right.
And really that's where the gap wedges with one groove and the lob wedges with another groove, that's where that came from. And that's because of their feedback just chipping around the green. It's pretty cool.
Yeah, I mean, there's nothing better than having testers who have such finely tuned feel and the hearing, the acoustics of it and that sort of thing. I mean, that's dated back years. That goes back to the old stories of Hogan and how he used to gap his irons. And all those kind of different things. They were doing the things that we do today with TrackMan, but they just had other methods of doing it.
Yeah, just less scientific, I guess.
That's right.
More reliant on feel.
So they know what's going on. They're just so finely tuned.
It is interesting.
Yeah, it's fantastic.
I mean, Luke's got to be one of the best short games ever. I mean, I know he hasn't been playing his best; he's been injured. But if you look at,
you actually need to see it to believe it.
Well, you've seen it in person, which I'm
you need to see it to believe it. There's a different sound. There's actually a different completely different reaction of the golf ball when a player like Luke Donald pitches.
Are you seeing like a better kind of consistency of spin? Like what do you
The way they have the ball approach the hole is exactly the right speed.
Yeah.
So the way they hit the shot is for the ball to basically approach the hole like a putt.
Right.
So they essentially have better speed on chip shots.
And that's whether that's a bump and run shot that approaches it, whether that's a shot with a little bit more speed, a little bit more check, then it trickles out that last piece. But the last few feet of that roll of that chip shot will react exactly as a putt. It would enter or approach the hole like a putt.
You're exactly right. If you look at the couple of shots that he holed this past week, on number 1, he holed a bunker shot one day and he holed a long pitch the other day.
Yeah.
And both of those, or actually the bunker shot might have been on 16 or something.
Yeah, I think
both of those, they fell in like a putt.
Yeah, they weren't hammering into the flag or anything
Right.
like that.
He's reading them and he's calling them because he sees the break they're going to take. It's unbelievable.
Yeah, incredible.
So a little bit of a technical question for you, Chris, about the ST190G head.
Okay.
I had some good talk about this today, actually, in the video, if anyone's waiting for more detail. But so it's actually a question I asked you earlier. So T-Rex is asking, can you use 3 of the weights, the sliding weights? Can you use 3 of them instead of 2? And just talk to me about basically, can you get different weights, order them from Mizuno? What are your options?
You actually can. So through customer service, you're able to go through, get your account to go through our customer service, and we actually have some extra weights available. Nice. So the whole thing is, if you want to play it short, if you want to play a different swing weight, those weights are not locked in. It's not like 2-weight screws that just fit somewhere and they're locked. Yeah, you could pull them completely out, or you could put more in. Okay. So that's absolutely an option, and it's a great option for if you want to fit it short, if you need a little bit different swing weight, if your balance is a little bit different based on the grip you play or whatever. There's definitely a lot of different levers you can pull.
Yeah, I think you were kind of thinking that for your builds and your fits, if you have a counterbalance shaft or something where you're going to be able to up the head weight. I think we measured the head weight when we did the fitting. It wasn't. I don't think it was light or heavy.
I think it's 203.
Yeah, I was going to say 204.
Oh, it is heavy.
Yeah,
okay,
it's about where I
my mistake.
Yeah. Which
with
kind of,
the adapter in it. It would be
that's with the adapter. That's right. Yep.
But you have the option to then add an extra 7 to that.
Add 7 or pull 7 out. That's right. Yep.
Good. Okay.
That's cool.
All right. I see one more. Okay. You getting that? Okay for one more.
Pick a good one.
That's pick a good. Well, the pressure's on here. A ton of people have asked what your favorite all-time Mizuno club was. I feel like we should answer that.
Yeah, I love that question. So it's funny. The story I'll always go back to is I always wanted to work on golf clubs, wanted to design clubs, and I'd always dreamed of working with the #1 player in the world. I always dreamed of Tiger as I was growing up. It's like I want to work with Tiger.
That's cool.
To me, the coolest thing that I've gotten to do was when Luke Donald went to #1, and it was when I worked on the MP62 irons. And that was a set that again, it was dialing in a specific frequency. It was dialing in a perfect sole based off of a set he had been using before. And this was when Luke was really playing just phenomenal golf. So working hand in hand with the guy who was becoming the #1 player in the world, became #1 player in the world with that set of irons, and to dial those in exactly for him, to me the 62 was a set that was like, this is awesome. So that's my favorite, and the feel and control of those clubs is amazing. So I always loved those.
Love it. That's awesome. That's fantastic.
Okay, Chris.
Well, we got to let you go.
Yep. No, I appreciate everything.
Put in
today.
a full day's work with us. We appreciate it.
It's been a really good day, and I look forward to everybody seeing the videos coming out. So there's some great stuff out there, and let's do this again soon.
For sure.
Definitely.
Absolutely.
Thanks, Chris.
Absolutely. Thank you.
See ya.
Thank
you, sir.
Yeah. Well, I'll give you a little shout later. Yeah. Awesome. All right. Well, guys, I mean that is a huge treat for us.
Yeah. Give us some context about Chris coming up to see us. He flew in from Atlanta just for the day. It's a big deal.
We can kind of start to see these things happen because obviously the channel's growing, the rate is going. The attention is kind of coming towards what we're trying to do with this.
Yeah, absolutely.
And that's what gives us the ability to do things like this with people like Chris. I mean,
Chris is a busy guy, and he came up and he's been here since noon, and we filmed 4 or 5 videos with him.
So came in and took in a Raptor game and enjoyed a little bit of the city.
Got a hell of a game last night too.
I know.
Not for the Raptors, but I think we'll probably get lots of questions why we're releasing so many Mizuno videos. It's not like we're Mizuno sponsor, but it's been good for Chris to come and get us a full day of his time. So there'll be lots of interesting stuff, but Mizuno stuff.
You always get more. Sort of context on the why. Why
Totally.
making certain products and going down a certain line with the technology. the viewpoint of how they see the industry. I thought that was really interesting.
He had some really interesting fitting. I thought a couple of your questions about the future of fitting were actually quite interesting. Not what I expected him to say, but it makes sense.
I know.
So I thought that was quite interesting. Yeah, just hitting shots with the clubs and the ball. Him looking at the numbers, talking to you about your fitting experience, and then see you guys.
Cheers, boys.
Thanks again, Chris.
Take
it easy.
Thank
you. Just getting the immediate feedback from someone who's engineered the club to say that's why it's doing this. That's why we designed it to whatever the shot is. We wanted that ball to spin more. We wanted to launch lower. Kind of thing. It's cool.
And Chris is just walking out the door, so I wouldn't embarrass him by saying this while he was here.
Yes.
Chris is one of a wave of the brightest minds in the industry, and I wouldn't say that to him when he's sitting there. But there's Chris Voshall. There's Jeff Brunsky over at Strixon, who we spoke to the PGA show.
That. Yeah, he's a smart guy too.
Smart guy, but they're young. Like Chris is 38 years old. He's been working he's been working with Mizuno since 2004, so exactly the same time I started with TaylorMade.
Okay.
So he and I were talking about the industry at the same sort of time, so we were right around the same age, and it's just fun to see someone who loves their job.
You can tell.
Oh man, we were joking earlier on about different kind of energy drinks. He's on a permanent energy drink called Mizuno.
It's so true. But he genuinely loves it. He doesn't need to. He doesn't need the 4 pounds of pre-workout that I need just to get through the day. The two of us.
I know. So no, that was good,
awesome.
guys.
I'm gonna move over there.
Come on over. Come on over.
Don't want another half hour of neck craning.
Was that starting to hurt a little, was it?
Honestly, it doesn't hurt. I'm just a little stiff. Not in pain, but I'm stiff. Oh, that's better.
There we go. We're back to the familiar setup.
Lovely.
And a tee.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to that shaft optimizer thing. That was pretty interesting.
The ball, the shaft optimizer. The woods was just kind of obviously going over the woods while talking about the specific design.
There were some good nuggets in there. Yeah.
About how wave technology evolved and all these sorts of things. So I think you guys will get some good tidbits on kind of the technology and why it's in the head.
I think so too. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Let me just rearrange this.
So let's, we're
off Mizuno mode now.
We'll get back into. We're back into
general interest.
Yes.
So appreciate everyone. We had lots of good questions. So I'm going to catch up, guys. If we didn't get your Mizuno question, we apologize, but please leave it in the comments and/or leave it in the comments of the videos that are coming out this week. I'm going to change this mic setting. God help me if I get it wrong. Packed house at TXG.
Yeah.
Packed house tonight. Lots of lessons.
Yep.
Okay. I'll also mention if we missed your super chat question earlier, we apologize. Feel free to remind me and re-ask.
Yeah. Why don't you have a little scroll through?
This is one of them. We'll grab that first.
Okay.
Yeah, but I can. You want me to go back up?
So why don't you have a little scroll through and I'll run through.
Okay. So let's get this one first because I know I missed this from Jason. So Jason is asking. He's a digger, so a little bit on the steep side, I guess, with the irons. Just noticed that when he teed up the ball off the tee versus hitting it off the fairway, his contact was better and more consistent. So he's a steeper attack angle with his irons, and when he tees it up, he seems to hit it better than when he has it off the turf.
Without diving into the obvious of a ball obviously elevated is going to be an easier one to strike. It tells me that there might be a little bit of an issue with low point for Jason.
Yep, might be getting behind the ball.
A little bit too close to the golf ball. So, if you are a digger, someone who's on the steeper side, and your entry point is a little bit too early, you might want to have a look at the length of the golf club.
Interesting.
You might want to make sure that the golf club isn't a fraction too long. You might want to take a look at the design characteristics of the leading edge of that club.
Right.
Maybe something that has a little bit more of a pre-worn leading edge.
To just sort of blunt that entry into the ground and not get too stuck in.
Yeah.
Do you think he's hitting it better off the tee because he's shallowing the swing a bit?
It could be a little bit about that as well.
I find I use that when I'm getting, I was getting way too up on my driver and way too inside.
100%.
Hit a bunch of balls teed really low with Larry yesterday, and it really kind of tightened things up.
I used to work with a young junior when I was kind of still my assistant pro days, and he had so much lag in club head speed you just wouldn't believe it.
Really?
He was so narrow in the downswing, but the divots he would take would be,
massive.
you've just never seen divots like this in your life.
John Daly's?
I mean, monsters. So one of the things we used to, I'd play 9 holes with them, and I'd get him to hit iron off every tee, which wasn't much of a penalty because he'd hit 3 iron, 270 anyway. Jesus. But we'd tee them up really high, so that he would have to get the angles out of his golf swing early enough that he would get that golf club to sort of be on its shallowing out on its way back up. So for someone who really retains too much angle, something that would force you to get those angles up was just changing the elevation of the golf ball. So for him, it would stop him kind of leaning into it and kind of getting too narrow.
That's a good tip. All right. Caleb asked his. That was one of the other ones I missed.
Guys, let us know. I'm kind of up to date on the feed here. Let us know if the sound is back on track with the mic.
Yes, I was told it was a bit loud, but I just turned it down. So
okay.
Hopefully I did that appropriately. Okay, from Caleb. So Caleb is asking if he should be changing the head or the shaft. He has got 156 mile an hour ball speed, carrying at 265. Spin looks high. Launch looks... So he's hitting the ball too high with too much spin. He's playing the Srixon Z785 driver.
Sound is fine. We're getting that.
I know what you're going to say, but a shaft is not going to knock much spin off, more than likely.
No.
So you look at less loft.
Angle of attack being 2.2 and the launch being 13.5, height 120 feet. The problem there is strike point.
Okay.
Yeah, so the problem there is no question. If your angle of attack, so your spin loft is only around 12, 13. If you're spinning it that much with that steep of a land angle, the chances are, Caleb, you're catching them a little too low in the head. So try to get on something like GC Quad where you can see where you're striking it.
Yep.
Have a look at potentially golf. I mean, golf ball's an eye opener.
Look at a lower spin ball potentially.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that I think that's better for him to look at that first versus spending $600 on a new driver. If he is hitting it middle or middle high, then yes. Yeah, driver change is in order.
Driver change, CG location, maybe going to something with a CG a little closer to the face.
Because we tested the 785 driver, it's good. I wouldn't call it low spin though. There's definitely lower spin options.
No question. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. All right, Caleb. Hopefully that helped. A couple of people asked if I could be fired and Chris could be hired full time.
Not a chance.
I don't think he's going to move up here, for one thing.
Not a chance. I'm quite happy with my partner in crime, thank you.
We're doing just fine. Chris did a good job, though. I really think he did a good job.
Yeah, no, he's...
I know he does video content quite often.
Yeah.
So I understand he would be, but I think he did, I don't know, I think he just did a better job than most people would
expect. To be honest, and when we were talking to him about his role and his position and stuff, that's exactly why he's in the position he's in now.
And I think he unfairly takes some flack about, he used to be an engineer, why is he marketing, like marketing is nonsense, blah, blah, blah. But he's like, if you look at him as an employee, he knows how a club is made, he helps design the clubs, but he's also a very good communicator, extremely good communicator. So if I was in charge of Mizuno, it's a perfect job for him. I would rather someone like him who's knowledgeable, but is also good, customer-facing person to be the kind of the voice of your company.
Right.
So.
I mean, the support that Mizuno have given Mizuno Canada in this instance by, given their key guy, and he is the key guy, giving him the freedom to fly up here and meet with us. He literally came up here just for this, which is a huge compliment to what we've got going on.
You put it in perspective for me. When you told me Chris was coming, I think what you said exactly was, like, just so you know, no one ever comes up to Canada for anything.
No.
No one comes to Canada. No one, gives you that time with their top guys. So it was, if you're wondering why we made so many videos with Chris, it's because it's a great opportunity.
Yeah.
And I think everyone's seen why, it was worth having him.
I know.
All right. From William. Okay, so question about the Ryzen Black. Compared to the TZ6. So obviously William's got some speed. It's an interesting question. So what shaft does Ryzen Black most closely resemble in feel?
Oh, and feel, feels
subjective.
Feels subjective to the player, but I would say you'd be much more closely comparing TZ5 to Ryzen Black.
Okay, so TZ6 is not as similar in bend profile.
No, not similar at all. In fact, probably the opposite.
TZ6 is the one that you said is very unique.
Yeah, okay. TZ6 is very unique, but I would say Ryzen, the white Ryzen, is maybe a little closer to what if you were pulling Ryzen white and you're pulling TZ6, that would be for the same player. If you're
Okay.
pulling TZ5 and Rising Black, same player.
Gotcha.
For the guy who has a little bit of a kind of stronger sort of stronger swinger, someone who's not overloading it.
Smooth trenches.
A little bit of a smooth
right?
transition. Yep, absolutely. The TZ6 and Ryzen White are a little bit more tip active, so for the guy who needs a little bit more deflection.
So Rajan Black is really, really tip stiff, and we did a little testing with that a few weeks ago. That was the one that, remember I kept hitting it way up in the face because it was, I guess, not bending as much through impact? All right. This is a good question from Austin. Couple good questions. We can't ask. I want to ask you this perfect iron design, but you have to remain somewhat objective. What's your favorite iron design so far this year?
This year, favorite iron design.
And you can feel free to change it later in the year. What do you think is performing best 3 months in? It's a tough one.
I see so many different types of players.
Give me one that you would run to for a lot of players. What have you seen a lot of people do well with?
I would say for me, I'm still going to hang on the Z785.
Is that right? That's
Yeah.
good. I think that's good to hear.
Yeah.
I mean, a lot of good. I think they were so clearly out ahead last year, but it's more so that other companies have maybe caught up.
Yeah.
It's not that their product has diminished.
I think there's so much value to that product, to the comboing of the 585s.
That's true. They blend so nicely.
They blend so perfectly.
agree with
The
that.
attributes of the 5 series and the 7 series are so good.
The bendability is
Yeah.
big for you.
Bendability is great. I love. I'm playing the MP split cavities.
So you're happy with those
so
two?
I really,
For a better player?
For a better player, no question.
Yep.
I think that's a really good design. I think the Apex Pro is a really good
looking
iron for this season. Also, I'm going to think about. I'll have a think about that. Take the attributes of maybe my 5 favorite irons and blend them into one. And what would that be? Yeah. I'll have a think
Might be
about
a
that.
video idea.
Yeah.
So it's another question I think is good, and I've seen this asked a bunch of times. You don't have to get within a penny, but people often ask, I'm going for a full bag fitting, what are your budget ranges? And I know it will depend on how you have the clubs built, what aftermarket shafts are you going with, are you going to look at stuff that's not upcharged, those kind of things. What do you kind of see? I mean, I've had questions before where they ask, what's kind of your average,
Here you go. I'll attack here.
like obviously first and foremost, you should be going with the budget you have in mind and asking what's possible within the budget.
I think
Is that the way to answer it?
100%, guys. I mean, this is something that is. It's on you guys. If you're walking into a fit, and you don't communicate that with the fitter that you have a budget.
Yeah.
You have a set amount in mind, and you want performance based on that budget.
Yes.
You're probably going to get let down at some point. You're going to.
You get quoted something you're not willing to spend.
Absolutely. I think that is going to be something that we faced a conversation like that at TXG today.
Yep.
There was a conversation within our team of a customer who came in and was offended by the price of the golf club he was fit for. Mm-hmm. He was fit for a golf club that significantly improved his performance, but he didn't like the price of it. There was not enough communication either by our fitter or by that person that led that fit to going down that direction. The performance wasn't in question, but the end price point. And some people are more price sensitive than others. It's really, guys. It's on certainly you to present that to the fitter.
And I would say, especially if you're going somewhere that you may not know the reputation of. Mm-hmm. I mean, based on how someone comes in, it may not come up. It should always come up. But if a lot of fitters aren't going to ask you. So if you don't ask, you can be sure that it may not be getting asked during the course of the fit.
Yep.
Okay. Good question. Are you seeing anything you want to grab quick, or you want me to scroll?
I'm just looking at most underrated golf company. That's a great question.
It is a great question.
Most underrated golf company. I think in the market. I mean, we don't have many in the store. I think that are underrated, but I think that I'm not sure if I've just got my blue tinted glasses on, but maybe a little bit Mizuno.
I think It depends on what your definition of underrated is.
I would say people. In fact, I'd probably say Srixon shock people with how good those irons are.
I think Srixon would be, especially in our experience last year, all the videos we posted where stuff was performing well, more comments were almost not in disbelief, but they were like, I've never even heard of Srixon.
Yes.
I know Mizuno is not as high in market share as TaylorMade, but people aren't shocked when a Mizuno iron is good. When Srixon's irons came out and you told people that you were selling the most of those, people were like, well, I did not expect that.
No, I know.
I think that's a good answer.
Yeah. Mike has just let us know that he watched the how to get the most out of your fitting video. He said that really helped him when he went for his fit.
Good.
That
was one of your favorites.
That was one, to be honest. That was a personal favorite of mine. We've got these kind of Hall of Famers that we think of add more value than others. I mean, obviously the reviews and stuff like that is good, but there's ones that give you guys more value than just reviewing products.
Sure. Especially to a broader range of people. Pretty much anyone who could want to go to a fit could watch that video and take something that will help them. And oddly enough, I believe talking about budget was one of the biggest points, wasn't it?
Yeah,
absolutely. I think we talked about it.
We've got a video here. A question here from Connor. What are your thoughts on gimmicky clubs that you see on the Golf Channel?
That's a great question.
C3i Wedge, GX7.
Do they all get made by the same company? Because all the commercials are exactly the same. They have the same people in them.
I mean, I'm sure there's a target market out there. I'm not really sure who it is.
Infomercial type market, I guess, right?
You look at these companies like TaylorMade and Callaway and Ping and Titleist and Cobra and Mizuno and Srixon. They kind of have a grasp on the marketplace.
That's true.
And not one of them have a GX7 style of head.
You do have to ask yourself if the people with the very most resources in the industry have not made a club of whatever, call it a T-list driver, not to pick on them, but if they haven't made that, perhaps there's a reason they haven't made it. And if it was that much better, don't you think that TaylorMade would have that whatever GX7 Fairway wood or whatever?
That T-list that I actually have. I think I might have one of those T-list things. I don't know how it ended up in my office, but people were trying to, or when we were trying to get kind of sold that product, people were like, you should see the thing go. Like you should see. You can even hit it out a divot.
What? I'm
like, why would I want to hit a 13-degree anything out a divot?
People can't hit that off a tee sometimes.
Absolutely.
13 degrees out of a divot.
It's like, don't make that your sales pitch.
First of all, you're a recreational golfer. You know what you're doing out of the divot? You're picking it up and you're moving it back in the fairway.
I know.
90% of people aren't hitting out of divots.
It's crazy. Whisker's asking how Mikey's speech went at the Ontario PGA.
You said it went great?
Yeah, it went great. Yep. Yeah, it was really well received with some really good feedback.
Did they record it at all?
I don't think they did. I know. Well, I was thinking
just for PGA members.
Yeah,
though, wasn't
it was. So no, it went well. He done about 45-minute presentation, Whisker on club fitting and the value and how we do it maybe a little bit differently at TXG and some of the technologies that we encompass in the fitting and some of our philosophies. That went down very well.
There's a big gap. I don't know if this is the case in the States, but there's a big gap in that part of the industry in Canada in terms of your training. Having been through the process myself, it's pretty limited. It needs work for sure. Okay, I want
to know where Austin's hijacked our feed here. I'm getting a message from Luke saying, Austin, you can hire naked caddies in Vegas.
Austin, I'd love to know how that conversation came.
I would love to know. What did we miss?
Can we come up on that trip?
What did we miss?
I know. Okay.
The bandit's got to be behind that somewhere.
He must be, yeah. Okay, from Nick. This is a question about hybrids. Does not like hybrids. Question about the different shaft options. So he's saying he's looking at the G410. Oh, the utility iron. Okay.
Yeah.
Sorry. He was fit for a Project X LZ 120 6.0. He's basically looking at a graphite version of that. So what would play similar to the one? I guess to get less weight in your hand. 120 is a lot of weight, I guess.
120 is a lot of weight. Yeah.
These are the no upcharge options. Even Flow, Tennessee Blue, Alta is the Ping one, I'm assuming.
Mm-hmm. I would say Even Flow Black would be, of all those ones, probably your closest one, Nick.
Stiffer?
Yeah, it's an interesting one because even just going back to the original question about not liking hybrids, we've touched on hybrids recently and different types of hybrids in the previously the sort of limitations that some hybrids have offered, and
the hang-ups people have about them. Right?
And I think we've really tried to focus on lie angle and the value that offers.
Lie angle is 90% of it for most people, isn't it?
I know.
If you're not hitting it well, there could be if you're slicing it, you can take an upright one now. If you're hooking it, you can get a flat one.
Yeah.
So Nick's got looking at the G410 utility iron. Are those bendable? You just bend the loft and lie on those?
On the
410 utility iron, so not the hybrid.
Yes, they are bendable. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
But depending on his ball flight, he can adjust that. Okay, good question. You want to take one from closer to the bottom?
We've got a question just coming in. TB5 versus Z-Star.
Okay.
Well, it's interesting because we've been doing a little testing with both recently, haven't we?
Yeah, we hit a few with TP5.
TB5 last week.
Was it last week?
Yeah, with the new Pix graphic on it.
That's right. Yeah.
Yep. What's your thoughts on that golf ball when you test it?
I think the TP5. This is the problem for me. I feel like the reason people have been going to it is the buzz about how it plays in the wind. I confess I haven't played it outside. To be honest with you. So when we're in here, I think it performs quite well.
Yeah.
But I feel like I would be doing it probably a disservice. I can't comment on the aerodynamics of it at all. I feel like that's where it is supposed to shine.
Yeah.
I will be doing, I think some good ball testing.
good
this year. I
testing.
really want to change balls. I don't care what ball it is. I just think that I've got some room for improvement. I think you're gonna probably switch yours up as well. Maybe just go to a higher spinning version of the Srixon or something like that.
It's a balance, isn't it? Because you want to try and get a ball that really performs and is fast and sort of high launch, low spin off the driver, but gives you that kind of playability with the irons that allows it to still spin a little bit.
I want the stability, especially in the mid irons, right?
What I really need is I need some spin back in my wedges.
You feel like you're spinning your wedges too low?
I've for quite a long time now. I've become a little bit too low spin with those wedges. I used to be seriously high spin with wedges. Yeah. Couldn't get them past the flag enough to bring them back.
Just be zipping back.
Yeah.
Function of how your swing has changed, I guess. You got a little more shallow.
A lot shallower.
Than it used to be.
Yeah, for sure. So definitely. I mean, I think back to the TP5 versus Z-Star ball, you just got to go test it. They're both fantastic.
I think I would say test them indoors, see the numbers, but more than likely you're going to need to play a couple rounds of golf.
Yeah.
Probably windy golf.
Srixon's
aerodynamics are supposed to be good too. I'm not saying that they're going to be bad. Maybe they'll be exactly the same, honestly. I would say just take them out on the golf course. Take one. This laptop's going to die.
No worries at all. We have Sean saying TP5 in the wind is the truth. It's good to know. Yeah, Andrew's asking when are we having the Golfholics boys in?
Just sent them a DM.
So, you just sent them one. Okay.
So we're looking at July.
We're thinking about July. We're planning on July and trying to figure that one out. And Bandon Dunes.
So if they can make it in July, that is the plan. So
what a trip!
That'd be awesome.
Up to Canada, then to Bandon Dunes. That's pretty cool.
They'll be in a good mood.
Those boys have got a good gig going on.
They do a good job, honestly.
Yeah, that's awesome.
I've got one of my good friends that I went to school with is like a massive fan of Golfholics, like massive fan. So when I told him that they might come up for a session, he's like, "I'll do anything. Let me hold the camera."
No way.
Please let me.
That's very cool.
I might have a guest.
Love it.
Guest appearance.
Mike is asking, any chance Larry will start doing lessons from TXG? He already does. Larry teaches in here now and again, but mostly Wednesday right now. But he pops in certain times. He's always loaded with pastries and croissants when he's in town, isn't he?
For a guy that weighs
125 pounds soaking wet.
He puts down a pastry with the best of them.
Yeah.
Okay, we have battery now.
Nice.
I got one here if you want. You want me to take one?
Yeah.
From Ken. Oh, that's not your question. Here's your question. He was fitted to a 917 D3 in 9.5 degrees. Remember that. 10C white X 70 grams.
Okay.
So 155-ish ball speed. He's hitting up on it, launching it high, spinning it low.
That's
Looks
exact.
pretty good.
2098.
I'm assuming smash factor is pretty good, no?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, very good.
Ken, I'm assuming you're asking whether that is good or not, or whether you can have some room for improvement.
I would say you're in good shape.
Yeah.
I mean, we done some videos last year, didn't we, on the 917 product and whether it was a bad driver or whether, because I think it has a bit of a reputation in the industry of being a product that doesn't perform or is some way behind some of these other companies. If you are the guy who hits up on it with low dynamic loft, which is exactly what Ken is, you're going to hit that product just fine.
Like I think he might. We saw pretty definitively that TS2 and 3 are faster on ball speed.
Yeah.
But if he doesn't need low spin, I feel like he would struggle to hit those because they're lower spin, right? They're definitely lower spin.
For sure.
Good question, Ken. Yeah, Ken, hang on to that driver. Looks like it's suiting you quite nicely. Oh, here, sorry. My bad. He's asking about the shaft feel. Okay, so he's having a timing issue. So his launch numbers are good, but he's having a timing issue. So that's 10C white 70X.
I mean, for a start, 70X is too stiff.
Okay, too stiff, too heavy?
I mean, if you were fitted to that, Ken, which I think Ken said he was fitted to it.
Questionable fit?
Yeah.
That's not being polite.
That's me saying. Yeah,
too heavy. Like a 60 weight instead, stiff flex would be. Because 10C white is not exactly a whippy shaft to begin with.
No, I mean, I'm not sure what kind of Band-Aid that's trying to put on it. I would need to...
He's feeling that it's too stiff, so that makes sense.
Well, you're not getting the shaft to load. You're not getting any energy, through it. It's not designed for Ken.
Gotcha. No, absolutely. So what, 10C blue instead, maybe? Or could he just go down and weight and flex in that?
Yeah, I would say, I mean, if weight is required, I mean, try 10C 70 stiff. I mean, that's one we carry in here. Get something where you can actually load and create. Remember, guys, the shaft the shaft is a spring. It's an energy, energy storage device. Something that's designed to produce and accelerate. So
absolutely,
yeah.
Okay. Grab one while I catch up a little bit. If there's anything from the
one from the guys. James is asking, can you please talk about Oban Kiyoshi shafts? The characteristics of each, particularly the purple. So we have Kiyoshi purple, phenomenal fairway wood shaft, very, very tip soft, good for the slightly slower swing speeds that need to kind of get the
purple.
The purple, yep. If you need the kind of tip section to be a little bit more active, really good. Kiyoshi gold came out right around the time when SLDR came out.
Remember this? Yeah.
It was designed to really complement. It was based off of the back of how low kind of SLDR was. So it was designed to really kind of increase dynamic loft. So again, not quite soft as the purple, but it's very
do you think
very
that worked?
tip active.
Just as a segue, do you think that worked?
I don't kind of think it worked to the point where I think if you go to more loft, I think it works better.
Yeah. Because that could just make you strike all over the face. Who knows?
It's more to do with, to be honest, with how you release it, how you kind of deliver your angles, and how you get the energy out of your golf swing.
Right.
What kind of bend profile we really need for you. Kiyoshi HB is the high balance point one, so that's again like a bit of a 10C orange or Fujikura Pro alternative. Will reduce swing weight by I think it's about 6 points.
Okay, so that's a lot, isn't it?
Yeah. So you've got Kiyoshi white, which is pretty stable, a little bit more stable in the tip section, but very, very good for the guy who's a pretty aggressive transition. Yep. So it's a little bit stiffer in the midsection. Actually, has a significant outer diameter in the midsection. It's very, very thick in that midsection. And then you've got Kiyoshi Black, which is their kind of really hard hitter bend profile.
Did you work with O-band shafts previously?
Yeah.
Just not here?
Just not here. Yeah.
I was just curious how you knew so much about it. Two things. One, I figured out the source of the naked caddy thing.
Okay.
There was some stripper banter. Originated from talking about the city of Montreal.
Montreal?
Which is notorious for strippers, and then it filtered its way from there.
I wouldn't know. Never been to Montreal.
Really?
No.
It has a notorious street that is just full of strippers.
Is that right?
I mean, Montreal, I should say, is a nice town otherwise, but look at Alan laughing in the background. Talking about strippers. What do you think
when
we're talking about?
When there's strippers involved, Alan's always close.
Tour Experience Golf, what do you think we're talking about? Strippers. Several people keep asking if I'm doing fittings here. The answer is no. Ian just hired 2 new fitters.
Yep.
They are doing a good job.
Did a great job, yeah.
Alex and John.
Yep. John worked with me previously at Modern Golf.
You had mentioned that.
So he's super experienced. To get someone who has that level of experience, to pick someone like that up and add them to our team is a huge addition for us. Yeah, it's fantastic. Yep. Really smart guy. Really good with the customers. Our customers love working with him.
I've only met him once, but he's very personable. Right?
Yeah, very personable. I think you guys, and actually I've not even spoke to you about this yet, but as it's kind of I'm away and stuff like that, I would like to see if it's a possibility to have John on a few episodes.
That's a great
idea. Get you guys familiar with some other faces on the team.
That's a great idea. Yeah,
so that'd be cool.
We can do that. Yeah.
Yeah.
We're taking a couple little trips.
Yeah.
Golf related trips coming up for you.
I know. Yeah.
As you should. Yeah. You don't want to be fit by me. I'll hang out and say hi, but you don't want me to fit you. All right. If you want to take one, go for it.
How much does tip flex affect AOA? Good question. Yeah, and tip deflection. It can. It certainly can by a degree, maybe a couple of degrees at the most. Something that if you're looking at the extremes, there can be. In terms of acceleration, I believe the extremes are 7 miles an hour between delivered speed.
Wow.
I think that's the most extreme that Enzo's ever captured is from one swing to another.
Is that a human being or
with a human? Huh. Yeah, with somebody who has the shaft working in max lead acceleration.
Yep.
And someone who's working it with minimum lead acceleration or just no acceleration.
Yep.
So about 7 miles an hour. So. We're eagerly anticipating. I think probably if we can get this week, get some work done on gears.
Yeah, I'm gonna come in again. We'll do that maybe this week.
That would be nice, just to maybe do a night this week or something.
Yeah, let's do that for sure.
Yeah,
I think even just to do some general testing.
Absolutely.
I think you can go very broad from the beginning, can't you? You can go very broad on the topics. Talk about bend point and all these kind of things. So.
Ray W is asking, would it be possible to do online fitting? Give you quad numbers and videos of swing.
That is absolutely possible, Ray.
It's what it's called. It's our Patreon program.
Yeah. So Ray, go to patreon.com/tourexperiencegolf or look in the link or the description of any of our videos. We have different tiers. There's gold tier that is access to all the fitting teams. So Chris, John, Alex, and am I forgetting someone?
Sorry, I was reading a question.
That's okay. I'm just talking about the fitting team. Anyway, all the guys in the fitting team.
Mikey, Chris.
Mikey as well.
Yeah.
And Alex and John.
And John.
You can send in TrackMan numbers, quad numbers, whatever, and they will analyze them. They'll answer you. They'll go back and forth with you on email. Then we do have a higher tier where you can speak to the boss himself. But yes, if you want an online fitting and you want it from TXG, I would say go there and you will not be disappointed.
Eric is asking if I'll be back down in the Fort Worth region to see Mike Taylor and the rest of the boys at Artisan. That answer is yes. Actively looking for little windows in the schedule to go down and do that with Artisan. And
you're going to
go down and see those guys and kind of check out. I'd love it if we both could do it.
Yeah.
I know that they would certainly be open to us going down and doing that.
That'd be awesome.
That'd be tremendous.
Are they still not making products for consumers, or are they taking orders?
They do.
It's just like a small quantity?
It's kind of as and when they can. Okay. It's not a volume experience or product right now. It's very custom.
But Mike's just knowledge and brain would be a million videos in and of it. It doesn't really. I'm just playing devil's advocate. It's not an artisan trip. It would be more about Mike, I guess.
Where's Al? Al's getting called. Al's a poser. He's showing off in the background apparently.
You should have seen a couple club twirls.
I love it.
Okay, let's take this from Jason. So Jason is. Al's just teaching a lesson if anyone's wondering what he's doing. He's busy. So Jason has a 917 F2 3-wood. He's not having a happy time with it. He's got a 19-degree hybrid instead. Okay. So he's basically saying he hits his hybrid well, does not hit his fairway wood well. Any suggestions for a 3-wood?
So Jason, if you can give us a little bit more context, You know, I need to really know whether at times it can be length can be the issue for that type of player.
Do you often hear that when someone just is more comfortable at 40 inches or 41 inches
Absolutely.
versus 43?
Sometimes going to a 41-inch, 17-degree hybrid can be really the trick.
Get some more loft.
Get a little bit more loft, a little bit more vertical shaft address, and that can help the AOA get a little bit steeper, that type of thing. So, yeah.
No, that's a good answer. All right. I'm just getting back into the stuff about the TV clubs. That's funny. I forgot about the square strike wedge. That's my favorite. That commercial just winds me up. Have you seen that one?
No.
It looks like it's just a chipper. It's not a new technology, but it's the script of it is hilarious because you can tell someone wrote the script and made, I think Andy North or someone does it, like a famous guy. But he literally just sits there reading and you can tell that someone anyway, it's brutal. It's brutal. Brandon is asking where you play your golf. Are you changing clubs this year?
I probably am, but I still need to try and make the decision if I'm going to play any kind of worth. Golf is fairly expensive here in Toronto, and if I play where I want to play, it's probably going to cost me a significant amount, and unless I really have the time to do that. To be honest, I would rather take my free time this year and kind of go do trips and go and see different kind of,
I think what people don't understand about working in golf is it's not that you don't love golf, but you need some time away from golf. Right. When you're not working, if you're on a golf course, sometimes you want to just stay fresh, not be surrounded by it 24/7.
I mean, I would love to join a club this year, and there's a club fairly close to home that has a phenomenal practice facility. Even that to me would be a great way to go and you can get a little bit of golf in. So I'm hoping to.
Yep. Very good. Well, we took TP5 and Z-Star already, didn't we? We did that earlier. Okay.
We did.
Travis, I'll take this really, really quick. The driver loft video you're talking about, I'm pretty sure I swung at 60% for the purposes of the video. If I'm thinking of the right one, I have not picked up 20 miles an hour, so it was just a demo.
What's your video from last March on driver loft?
I was hitting them 250 on purpose.
Okay.
Yeah. I didn't pick up 20 miles an hour.
No.
I think I remember.
You actually had lots of speed.
Lost some of it.
Lost it while you were in transition and actually regained it with more. Yeah. It was literally the perfect rebuild story of had a good ball flight, lots of speed, broke it and then rebuilt it to a much better ball flight, much more neutral ball flight and more speed.
And to be fair, it needed braking. I mean, when we first started doing the videos, I know just the way that the flow of the videos is and just the nature of editing and stuff. I think it looked like I was hitting it a lot straighter. On the golf course last year, it was not straight.
I love that. Looked like I was hitting a lot straighter.
No, but you know how it is. I mean, we don't show every shot because some of them are just useless data.
Yeah, I mean, we show you guys the useful, relevant shots.
It's not to skew anything. It's more just to say, listen, Matt shanked one, so we didn't put it in. But the consistency factor is much improved. From our pal Joe. So Joe is asking about a driver that feels a bit too light for him at D3. Okay, so is he better off increasing the shaft weight or head weight? I think he means head weight, not swing weight. So he wants to get it up to, let's say, D6. I see Joe's playing around with a little 410 action. Attaboy.
Yeah, I mean, because you can increase shaft weight to increase swing weight.
Does it need to be a low balance point shaft to get the weight up?
No, but it will influence it whether it is or it isn't.
Oh, well.
Yeah,
Okay.
so where that balance point will play a role. Overall mass will play a role. Head weight will play a role.
Interesting that he's getting...
It feels too light at D3.
Well, sort of, but also we know G410 is on the heavier side.
It's on the heavier side for sure. Yeah, I mean you got to remember those ping shafts are counterbalanced. So I would say for Joe, I would get into something with a little bit more mass down in the lower side, down at the tip section of that golf club, which should really change your feeling perception of where the mass is.
Absolutely. Yeah, that's a good point. I didn't realize that was counterbalanced. So that alone, a non-counterbalanced shaft will bring his swing weight up like a point or two at least.
At least maybe more.
What was the D7 monster? Was it G410 in that TPT that I know it's a prototype. I'm just saying that was.
No, it was.
That was the extreme in the other direction.
Yeah.
Okay, you got the question about Oban Kyoshi. You were very thorough.
did.
That was from James. Thank you, James.
Got one from Zach, and I've seen this one prop up a few times in the chat. What are your thoughts on MOI matching versus swing weight matching?
Yeah,
Pros and cons.
I don't even know what that means.
I mean, to be honest, it's a Mikey video. We're going to do that one with Mikey. We don't MOI match here. It's a very different process. It's from a weighting perspective. It's kind of like some people value MOI match and some people value swing weight match, and
that's what the question is always.
Some people value frequency match, and it's just different ways in which you make a set balance.
Right.
There's a guy here in Toronto that does a system called True Length Technology. I've seen that work for some players, and I've seen it be horrible for some players. It's just another method of testing. So we're going to build a set of MOI matched clubs.
Mikey knows how to do those too.
Yep. And we're going to get a set built. We're going to do a set of one length clubs for you next week.
Yeah. I think those two topics alone will be, again, talking about things that are most requested. Those are on the list. One length, MOI matched.
Yeah.
Mizuno shaft optimizer, Flight Scope Mevo.
I know.
These are like the number 1, 2, 3, and 4.
For sure.
Okay, that's cool. People are still asking about the TXG Open. Austin, we're still chatting about it. We haven't forgotten. It will be in Toronto, yes. It would not be, as much as we would love to come to Myrtle Beach, I think it will be a local event. Local meaning near us. Got his hat and towel in the mail. That's from K May. That's awesome. Good.
Yep.
Got some new stuff coming in the next couple of weeks. I'm going to come take some photos this week.
Nice.
Saw some new towel, new head covers, new something else Jamie showed me.
Yep.
Did you see that new camo one? The white camo?
Oh, I did. It's really nice, eh? I actually just ordered
take
my... no, not yet. Do you know what? I just ordered my new Galvin Green gear for this season.
all camo?
Oh, you should see it.
Well, I saw the catalog. I remember.
It's wild. That edge line by Galvin Green this year
sweet.
is by far the best golf clothing I've ever seen in my life.
I'm looking like a bum all year. I got to sort out some clothes. I can't go on like this.
You've got the leverage now.
I'm not really one to ask for stuff, as you know.
I know.
I'm not really one to...
Clothing companies, approach my
beg.
boy, get him dressed up. Who would you, if you had your pick, who would you wear? I can openly say, if I had my pick of everyone, I would still wear Galvin Green. If I had my pick of everyone, all kind of brands that I could wear, I'd
the stuff is so
absolutely
nice.
wear Galvin
Stuff
Green.
is so nice.
Would you wear G4?
Yeah, I'd wear G4.
I think G4 stuff's really nice.
I'd wear G4. Again, Galvin stuff is really nice, but
Yeah.
I think, one, we shouldn't match, and two, their stuff is also, it fits similar, like G4 stuff fits nicely as well.
Yeah, it's very like those penguin shirts that you wear.
It's a lot like
that type of kind of, almost like smart, a little bit more of a tailored dress kind of
They
shirt.
just, I think, honestly, here, they call it European fit. I know that sounds ridiculous because you're from Europe, it's just called fit, but in North America, it's called European fit.
It's true.
But we can't wear the same. You know why we can't wear the same clothing company? Because then I would have to call you every morning and say what shirt
are you
you're
wearing?
wearing. What color are you wearing?
I know.
It's too much.
Got a good one from Sean here. Thank you, Sean, for your donation. When changing head design in a fitting, you often need to change shaft. Why is this less common for pros? John Ram tends to play the green Rogue regardless of what head skill level. You know what? These guys. I mean, DJ is the exact same.
Is he?
He plays that Fujikura shaft, and he generally just sticks to that shaft.
It's just a stubbornness or a feel preference.
I
Basically.
mean, they probably have got that shaft in a point where they just love how it loads and feels, and then they literally just cater the head around that.
Is that right?
Yeah.
That's interesting. It's almost like, I don't know, it's
Well,
backwards.
the other part of it is they're probably not changing too much. They're probably just kind of fitting into, an M4 into an M6, keeping it as similar as it possibly can be. Probably the head weight, the sort of.
Sorry to interrupt.
Yeah.
Is that why he keeps flipping between drivers? Because
What's he flipping between?
Well, you know how he started with M3, and then he went to M4, and didn't he
Right.
do it again this year? Didn't he go M5 to M6 again, Dustin?
They all do it. And Dustin goes the other way. He started in M6 and
he
done
did.
the same last year.
I was wondering if that's because he's kind of, and I'm saying stubborn, but he's being persistent with the shaft, and then he's basically looking for the head to suit it. Maybe that's why he keeps going back and forth.
I think early in the season, Matty, the guys don't really get a chance to do in-depth testing. So they'll do some initial testing, they'll put something in play, and then they'll go play with it, and then they'll figure it out.
And they're expected to play it because of their contract.
Yeah.
That's
These embargoes and stuff that are kind of in place, they don't really allow. There's cameras everywhere these days.
No, I know. You can't just go play golf at his club.
No, because somebody will be snapping pictures of them and getting an eye on the new product. So, like Chris was saying earlier on, when they launched ST190 with Keith Mitchell, they were testing that last July.
Is that right?
Last July, yeah. So that was, obviously 9 months ago.
Yep.
Doing the final tweaks to it, but none of us saw it until PGA show.
The G?
Yeah, just the ST190.
Yeah, that sounds about right.
Yeah.
Yeah, because we hit it on the range. So I don't think anyone had really seen it.
No.
Yeah.
So
that's interesting. Yeah, I didn't know that about DJ.
Yeah.
I'm going to give a little shout out to Patrick here. So that's Patrick. Thank you for explaining this. Patrick sent me a message. Remember I showed you the Cut Golf stuff? So Cut Golf sent him the T-shirt and a couple T-shirts and the hat because he sent us the cut balls on their behalf.
Oh, right. I saw that from Patrick.
Yeah, he sent me it on Instagram. So that yes, Patrick, they do owe you one because he procured the golf balls for us. Now Cut has sent us tons since, but
Patrick is the Patrick in Joe.
Yes.
I would say two guys that are the absolute definition of community members for TXG.
There's so many names that honestly,
so many.
you hear us saying Whisker and Ben, these guys. I feel like we've been doing this for years.
Yeah.
When you feel like you know people, but
that's right. But when it becomes you guys are as interested in providing value to the community as we are, it's just so good.
I've noticed that forming of the community really taking place lately.
Yes. Yeah.
The fact that people chatted amongst themselves for an hour because I screwed up the time is a testament to that, right? You can speak amongst yourselves while we sort out our nonsense. Can I take this one from Tyler?
Go for it, yeah.
So Tyler is asking, just coincidentally, about the ST190G Atmos Blue, which is what comes in it. Swing weight is D8.
That seems odd. I'd want to know... Tyler, I want to know a little bit about
how would it get to D8?
How would it get to D8? I would want to know that seems really, really heavy.
So let's take that at face value and say it is D8.
Okay.
Maybe put an extra weight in there.
Yeah.
Does that make sense that he's kind of having trouble timing it with his hands? He's kind of leaving the face open, or not?
Absolutely.
It does. Okay.
Definitely does.
So again, general information. D3 is a good target.
Yeah, I think D3, D4. If Tyler's choosing that particular head, that particular shaft, I think D3, D4 is a really nice window to be in.
You just pop one of those weights out.
you can literally just get your scales out and pop the club head on that. The club head should weigh about 196 grams. The sleeve itself will weigh about 8 grams, so it should be around that 204 gram region. Unless it's over length or maybe like a Tour 25 golf pride grip or something. That's 25 gram golf
light
pride
grip, long shaft would cause it to be or an extra weight.
Could do, but it's just
in any case too heavy. Swing weight is too heavy.
Definitely.
Look for that to get lighter there, Tyler. That will help.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Quick question from Johnny. This is a great question. He's looking to do a putter fitting. Pardon me.
Yeah.
I know what you're going to say. Mm-hmm. What does he need? I'm going to be specific. Where should he be going? What technology does someone need to have to fit a putter properly? If
you don't have, obviously, which most people don't have access to Quintic.
Okay. So a fitting center that doesn't have Quintic is not out of the question. Is it? I mean, do you really need to have Quintic to get? I know it is the best.
I know.
Let's take the general market in place. What could a good putter fitting be?
Do you know what I'm thinking? Like that would be a great video. Is to how can a pro shop do a club fitting if your budget is $150 for like tools. 4 hours? Yeah, for tools and how could you do it? I'm thinking you've obviously got drills like the ruler drill. So you've got the 3-foot ruler drill to control club face. Okay, which one kind of gives you an open face, a closed face? The ping app, the putting app, to identify rotation, a do board to identify roll. I think if you had those 3 things, you could be really effective in giving people.
You're a good fitter, obviously.
Yeah.
So that's almost like the DIY fitting tools.
I think you could do that. That'd be a good little video and see how that matches to what Quintic says.
Johnny, you've inspired an idea.
I love those.
Okay. Question about strike location on the driver. This is a good question. So hitting it high on the face, I'm familiar with that. Can an equipment change help with this?
We've seen that, haven't we?
So a shaft change has frequently changed average strike location.
Absolutely. Definitely.
Hottest shafts of 2019, part 1. We hit 4 different shafts. I'm pretty sure my strike locations were separated by at least 15 millimeters. Generally speaking, I know this is going to be too general. High strikes, to get the strike lower, would you look at a softer tip shaft? Probably bring it down a bit.
You would look to a shaft to be in more lead acceleration.
Yeah. So you want it bending towards the target.
Yep.
Good.
Jason, Jason's got a question here. Had a club fitting, or had a full bag fitting at Club Champion. Feels pretty happy about the fit, Matty.
Good.
Wants to come to TXG to see what we think, and how does that match up? Should I schedule a full fitting for that? Yeah.
Oh, he's local.
Yeah, come and, I guess it may be in the US, but wants to travel up and get a second opinion.
Would never discourage you to come.
No, I mean, come and see what it is. I mean, the Club Champion guys do it a little bit differently. They've got some different technologies. They use TrackMan, use some different software from us. I would always encourage someone to kind of come and do it our way. I think it competes with anyone in the marketplace. I really believe it. So yeah, definitely.
Come on up.
All
right.
Joe is asking, is there a TXG session coming to the Northeast, New Jersey this summer, or do I have to return my custom TXG Speedo?
I didn't know you'd bought one, Joe.
I don't know. I didn't know there was any.
Are we going to New Jersey this summer? I don't think so.
Yeah, we'll see.
I don't think so, Joe. I won't say never, but I don't know that I would say summer 2019.
So there's some early betting on the Matty sweepstakes here. Is Travis Matthews?
I don't mind Travis Matthews. They're really loose here though.
Polo.
They're huge. Look at. I like Justin Thomas, but they give him a shirt and pants that fit. They've dressed him like he's in his grandpa's clothes.
It looks like he's wearing his dad's gear. It's brutal. Puma.
Don't mind Puma.
Okay.
Don't mind it. Again, not my favorite, but not bad. Not bad. I think it has to be. I'll put a condition on it to keep our agnostic status. It can't be a clothing company that's affiliated with a club company. So Adidas and TaylorMade are owned by the same company. No Adidas.
Yeah.
Puma and Cobra owned by the same company. No Puma.
Right.
What else?
Yeah.
FootJoy. I'm not going to wear FootJoy, but owned by Titleist.
Right.
Agnostic only.
G4
got in a little bit of trouble in the media, but other than that,
I know. I heard that. Yeah.
I mean, there's worse crimes to commit than what that guy did. But did you take this one? Sorry to interrupt.
No, one changing head design.
Do you want to take that next?
Yeah, go for that one. Oh no, we did. That was the John Ram one. Yeah, we're talking about. Yeah,
perfect.
Yeah, we did. We got it.
Sean, we got that.
From Fraser Carr, would he know if it's possible to change the loft of a ping eye blade wedge by 4 degrees to make a gap wedge? So I guess looking to change.
Weaken it.
Yeah.
4 degrees sounds like a lot.
Yeah.
Is that too much?
Too much. Yeah. I wouldn't recommend that, Fraser. Wouldn't recommend moving it that much.
2 degrees at most.
2 degrees at the most.
All right.
KMA, you guys going to the Canadian Open? ? We talked about it the other day, didn't we? We're gonna make that happen.
Yeah, I don't think it'll be an issue. I'd like to do some kind of filming or something there if we can get a media pass. But I would say regardless, we're gonna go.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't think people understand how much people love when big names come to Canada for the Canadian Open. It's an event that used to be like Jack Nicklaus would come and Arnold Palmer would come, and then it's gone through a rut where no one's come. RBC sponsorship has been huge. They brought tons of good names, but Rory committing to it is a big deal.
Huge.
It's hard to describe how big of a deal that is. I think to me it's second to Tiger coming pretty much.
And Hamilton Golf and Country Club is top notch. I think that will add some serious value for the players coming to play in it. Glen Abbey's not everyone's favourite, that sort of thing. So
I think Hamilton is a better representation of what Southern Ontario golf can be.
Right.
I'm not saying Glen Abbey is a bad course, but
Sure.
like if you look at Hamilton, that's a historic, gorgeous golf course.
It's gorgeous.
That the country is very proud of.
Yes.
So you will definitely see us at the Canadian Open. Stay tuned.
We have a question, sponsored question here. QFL.
I have to take
What's
this one
that?
after. Sorry, you go first. Look at Kyle's question.
Oh,
We'll take it.
easy answer to that one. QFL is retiring in 18 months from the military and looking to become a PGA professional.
Awesome.
What advice would you guys have as I pursue the new profession?
That's great.
You were a PGA professional, as was I.
Yep. Well, you are. Yep.
Yep.
I'll go first. I would say expose yourself to as many parts of the industry as you can in as short a period of time as you can.
Yeah.
Expose yourself to instruction, management, greenskeeping, club fitting, tournament, event and tournament organization. I don't know what I'm missing, but basically I would spend as much time as you can in everything, because I guarantee you there'll be some that you hate and there's some that you really like. And most of the people I see in the industry that are not happy, they're in the wrong section of it.
Yeah, I think that's great advice. I think that's what everyone should do is spend a little bit of time in each section. I know I've personally done that. I've taught, I've worked in the pro shop. I've obviously been in the equipment side of things. I've worked in a business. I've ran my own business. I've done just about all of that stuff, and I've found very comfortably what I'm most passionate about.
Yep. And the only way honestly, I say this all the time,
Yeah.
but the only way you know whether you're going to like something, you have to do it.
And don't be afraid to ask people, to go and shadow them, spend a day with them, whether that's a coach or a pro shop or someone you respect in the industry.
Anyone worth their kind of weight in gold will say yes. I think anyone that says no to you is not helping the industry by any means.
Definitely.
I'm taking Kyle's question. Kyle, do I prefer center strikes? Yes. Do I hit it in the toe all the time? I sure do. A slight toe I'm fine with. But unfortunately, sometimes it strays into the nether regions of the toe. I'm working on it, though.
Working on it. Larry Chung's got his work cut out.
It's probably the most challenging thing I've ever given him.
I know.
Dakota has asked us, he's playing Nippon 105s and P790s. He's getting very low spin in his 6-iron. TP5 golf ball. My coach recommends going to AP3s with Nippon AMC 880s. Tried them today and got another 1,000 with a higher peak.
Interesting.
I'm not sure where the question is. If you're asking if that's a good idea, I think it's definitely a good idea. It sounds like
Could he save himself $2,000 and change his golf ball though?
you could change your golf ball and get a slight loft adjustment. Yeah, I mean, if you're Dakota, if you're enjoying the the clubs and like the weight and that sort of thing, you could certainly get them adjusted. Go to something like a cut blue.
A degree of loft and a cut blue would probably do exactly the same thing.
Absolutely.
If he had 5-year-old golf clubs, I would say go for it. But
I know.
I mean, P790s are expensive.
Yeah,
you don't want to. I would feel bad if someone spent so much money on that.
Absolutely.
Quickly for you, Orange County, California, club fitters.
Orange County, California. True Specker out at La Costa.
Okay.
Club champion I have a bunch. Wouldn't it be great if TXG had a spot in that
Orange
area?
County? Wouldn't that be great?
That would be fantastic.
If we knew someone, that would be fantastic.
I know.
So, True Spec for now.
Yeah.
Okay. Do you want to take one, or do you want me to take another one? I got Q's question about retiring from the military, so I'm sort of catching up to you.
Okay.
You took Jason's question about club champion. Yes, we did. My goodness, we were really on the ball today.
We're getting there. So we've got Desmond, whose question is, you guys mentioned 45-inch for driver being the standard. Are you referring to the shaft, butt to tip, or the total plane length of the golf club, including the head? The full length.
Playing length.
Yeah, so if we would take that measurement from where the club is sold. So if the club sits sort of, let me see here, sort of 1/3. So if there's the toe of the golf club, there's the heel. It's about 1/3 from the heel of the golf club. Exactly where it basically positions. It's from that point all the way up to the butt section of the shaft.
Oh, okay.
So that's where you measure from.
Yeah, that question gets asked quite a bit.
Yeah.
What is your? Do you need to get? I need to get going pretty soon.
No worries.
get
Under Armour for Matty. April's suggestion. Not Under Armour.
I'm being a little picky, but it's a little loose.
So you want something fitted?
I just want a shirt that fits. That's all I want. It's so much to ask. No, it's just you know what I'm saying. It's I hate the shirt triangle. Like you put on a golf shirt and your shirt looks like this.
Yeah.
I hate that.
Bandit's saying that Peak Performance or Ted Baker. Did Ted Baker make golf clothes?
I didn't know. I didn't
don't
know they
think
did.
so.
They have.
But I see where Bandit's going with
Baker's very
that stuff.
patterned. And
Honestly, I'm not joking. That's what G4 is. That's exactly what a G4 shirt is.
I literally just had this conversation with my friend. We'll reach out to G4. You took
All right.
Dakota's question about P790.
I did. Would someone with a heel driver strike tendency, i.e. me, be accentuating the problem with loft turned down face set open? Yes, absolutely, definitely. Alex, I'm scared to change lofts on clubs. Would it open and close the club face with an 8-iron and up in particular? Would it open and close the face? I mean, lie angle will kind of tilt the face in different directions, but certainly not open and close. Galvin Green rainwear versus FootJoy rainwear.
It's a different category.
That's what is that? That's
Oh dear, here he comes.
it's an elephant versus a mouse.
FootJoy rain again.
No, I mean
Galvin is a different.
FootJoy is make a great rain suit.
Great stuff.
Galvin Green make the best rain suit. It has a lifetime guarantee.
I mean, it's
lifetime
a
guarantee.
Honda or a Ferrari. It's
It's the best. Literally,
top end.
wait till you see the Galvin Green collection that's going to be on the website,
I know.
the online store. Like, you're looking through the catalog, going, "I'll just take one of each."
I think that's what you did at the
Pretty
show.
much, yeah.
The rep's like, "Do you want that shirt? Yes.
Oh,
do you want
yes,
that
I
shirt?
do.
Yes. Do I want that shirt? Yes. Yes.
I know, so good.
I think I want to get a Galvin rain suit, regardless of anything else.
I know.
I will play a
So
bit
good.
of golf in the rain as much as I hate it.
Yeah, so it's
But
tremendous.
you got the heel strike. Did you get this from Zach? Zach is asking about
Just right there, right now. Any iron shaft or head type recommendations for a beginner with a positive angle of
on the
attack?
irons. Good question.
I would love you to address the things that are creating the upward angle. It's a bit like a Ronnie question. Ronnie has in 7 years we've known each other. We have worked with him with his equipment, but he's also worked on his end on the
takes
sort of the lessons and changing the weight and that sort of thing. Making sure you're in something that has a nice, not too wide of a sole where you're kind of catching too much turf beforehand.
Lots of questions about that.
Lots about that. So,
So thinner soled iron.
yeah,
But
thinner soled iron.
probably recommend him going with something that can be adjusted as his mechanics get better.
Yep.
Jason's asking when the what's in the bag for yours truly and you are coming. I think we'll wait until stuff has been changed.
I know.
You've changed your irons, but I haven't changed anything yet.
I'm heading down to play 5 rounds this weekend.
Are you guys playing that much?
Yeah, I'm going to play 5 rounds this weekend.
Are
So
you playing 2 on one of those days?
we're going to play two days.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
So
You're only
the
gone for
plan
3
is
days.
Saturday we're playing Eagle Creek where you and I
Nice.
done sessions.
Nice.
On Sunday we're going to go out to Red Tail, which is just north of Orlando,
you
which
mentioned
is
that,
which is so good. Let me know if any of you guys know where Red Tail is. It's in Sorrento, Florida, which is kind of just north, about 40 minutes north of Orlando.
Okay.
And then on Sunday we are playing. On Sunday. We're playing at Bay Hill and maybe one other.
Nice.
So at least 4 anyway.
That's awesome.
Yeah, it'll be good.
That is a nice little jaunt. Okay, I'm going to say now, guys, if you haven't already asked a question, please save it for next week. We got to get moving.
William has come in with Hugo Boss for Matty. That's a good one.
Oh, yeah, Stenson, where's that?
Yeah, that stuff's really sharp.
Yeah, I like their stuff as well.
Yeah.
I like that stuff too. Let me take this from. This is asking about the PAT playing ability test. Did you must have got it on your first go, no? No.
So
Did you try to take it too soon or something?
first time I have horrendous allergies.
Oh, no.
Horrendous allergies.
Oh, no.
And I done it, and for the Scottish people watching this, I done it at a windy summer's day at Falkirk Trist Golf Club.
not the hardest golf club in the world by any means.
Should have faced full pollen, or?
I literally had to walk off the golf course with my eyes were like
Jesus,
like bug eyes. I walked off the golf course and during the second round I just couldn't do it. Second time I done it, I think you've got to shoot like plus 14. I think I shot.
We're talking about 2 rounds here.
Two
just
rounds,
so everyone knows, not 1 round.
I shot level par the first round and 2 over the second round or something in a rainy day at Lanark Golf Club, which is nice. So
you did technically do it the first time you actually followed through with it. And
the first time I completed it.
Oh, geez.
Yeah.
I also got it my first time. Yeah. But I would say I know, well, as an encouraging story, I know someone who tried about 9 times, and he did eventually get it. So if you don't get it the first time, don't give up.
Jonathan is suggesting Galvin Green for Matt. With both of you wearing, you'll get more buyers.
He's not wrong.
Not wrong at all.
He's not wrong.
Golfholics polo for Matty.
Do they have their own brand?
They have their own line.
Do they really?
I think so. Not unless it's...
Should ask them if they get it from somewhere.
Yeah.
Yeah, they do. They have some nice... their merchandise is nice.
It's
good.
Nice
hats and stuff,
Definitely.
too. Brandon's asking why I wouldn't go with a longer blade length iron because I habitually hit it in the toe. Would that actually matter, or is that basically just a forgiveness question?
Yeah.
Brandon, I'm going to work on it myself, but you're not wrong. If you do mishit your irons, I'm sure a longer blade length iron
It's
would,
not like you would think of that, that little trainee, the little one?
Yeah.
It's not like if you went to that, you'd miss the ball.
No, it's true. It's true. Because it's all things being equal. You're not just going to swing the same. But generally speaking, yes, a larger iron will be more forgiving on those missed hits. Okay, I don't know if everyone caught it, but we are going to sign off very shortly, so hang on to those for next...
It's been a monster
Don't hang on to
session.
them for next week because you're away. Hang on to them for 2 weeks from now.
Yeah.
Because we're going to sign off shortly. But I'm going to take this one about shafts. Interesting question. I'm gonna modify this.
Okay.
Compared to no upcharge shafts, not stock.
Yeah, that's a nice way to modify.
So shafts that are included at no additional cost from the manufacturer versus aftermarket ones that are not. How often? How often is one to the other?
At TXG?
Yeah.
I would say 90-something% aftermarket.
Is it really?
Easily.
Wow.
Yeah, easily.
Okay. And is that because it's always, I shouldn't say always, it's more than likely going to be your best performance comes from an aftermarket shaft because it's more options?
Because there's more options. Not because it's bad, not because it's, we devalue, the free offerings. The free offerings are designed to offer, here's a tip stiff one that a loader can play. Here's a tip soft one that somebody who at early release can play.
It's more general.
Yeah, we have such a variety that we can key into the nuances of the fit much easier because we have so many.
Gotcha. It's another good point, though. Again, I think if you know at the beginning of the fit that the person wants to know upcharge shaft, you've got a much better chance of coming out with what they want at the end of it.
Paul is asking if we can fit Mark Crossfield now.
Did he send you more messages?
Yeah,
you're gonna
fire
fire Bandit
I'm
up.
not sure.
Hope Bandit's not still watching. He's gonna be
Bandit, tell us what you think.
He's gonna throw his tee at the screen.
Don't do that. Don't do that.
Someone said Hugo Boss is too German. He's pretty German, although I do think he's dead.
Ronnie, I was looking at my Twitter there. Ronnie Pukowski. A first for Ronnie and another who am I moment. Nervous but excited YouTube channel. 21,000 views in 3 days.
Yeah, it's done really
Thanks to Ian and Matthew for the encouragement.
That's from a recent video with Ron, mid-handicap iron fitting. Don't miss that if you haven't seen it.
That's such a cool video. And that's, I tell you what, it's because Ronnie's such a cool guy.
It's a beauty.
So yeah, we sent Mark back a message last week saying we really liked his ideas. The biggest thing is how do we collaborate? That's
not
the
be
thing.
In person anytime soon.
Yeah, no, is he going to pose us a fitting question that you and I can address? That's probably the way we can have a bit of a back and forward.
I think that's a decent idea. Yeah.
We could potentially patch him into some kind of live chat like we done with Johnny today in the What's in the Bag.
True enough, yeah. It's in the works, guys, but we don't know when. Let's take this from Brandon. Is it typical for a shaft? I think he's asking, is it typical for you to play different shafts across your driver, 3-wood, and 5-wood?
Very common.
Basically. Okay.
Yeah.
So more likely than not, you're not using the same 3-wood shaft as your driver. The 3-wood shaft is usually heavier and a bit
certainly
stiffer.
more common to match up two different or a shaft that's
3
the
and
same
5-wood.
in the fairway woods.
And that's likely because you've given or you fit someone for a new 3 and 5-wood that likely match. If they went with totally different companies, maybe the shafts would be different.
While we have a couple more minutes, I would just like to get a couple of more suggestions. Guys, what do you want to see video-wise over the next month?
Sure, yeah.
Right? So what do you want to see? We've got some ideas of doing some cool stuff with loft, explaining the loft sleeve.
Yes.
We're going to do more putting, certainly more videos on putting. I want to do some videos on the putter grip, the influence a putter grip can make.
Okay. Yeah, that's been on the list for a bit.
Big super stroke versus small pistol or studio design or the ping man grip or something like that. Tell us what you would like to see. Give you a couple of minutes here just to rapid fire throw some comments at us here with what you would like to see.
Idea. And we are actually, believe it or not, we're up to date.
Wow.
It's the first time I've seen the bottom of the scrolling page and as long as we've been doing this.
I know. No, that's cool.
Yeah, the putter grip one is one that we can definitely do soon. Been meaning to do that for a bit.
Bandit, no crossfield.
Yes, if you would be supplying vomit bags, maybe. Should be a TXG one.
So Caleb says longer shaft, longer length shaft. I assume that means in driver.
We did that. We did that.
Frank's saying do it, bring him into the light. I think people will be surprised with Mark. I hope. I mean, that's maybe me being the glass half full on that one, but I'm certainly hoping that he was, certainly up for collaboration, not trying to kind of, turn a video a certain way or a certain angle.
Not trying to be confrontational.
Exactly.
I agree with that. Whatever.
Yeah.
I mean, honestly, guys, we'll give it a shot. We're not saying we will or we won't, but we'll do our best. This is a good suggestion.
Right.
Arm lock putting testing. I think we should do that.
Arm lock testing on Quinn. Yep. Cool. More EI profiles. Well,
you will get those.
We get that.
We have a big announcement coming for that.
Dan saying gears, PXG.
PXG day. It's on our list for sure.
Yep. Putter grip sounds awesome. Good. More videos on club building. It's coming.
Yep.
Gears. Fit some normal speed guys.
We're doing
Come
it.
on, Steve. Come on.
Steve, you missed a video last week. Go watch it.
Play the game.
Those take a lot of effort. Please go watch them.
Ronnie's got more to do.
Yeah, Ronnie's
Lindsay's booked for not next week because I'm away, but the following week. Lindsay's coming in that week, so
get her to do. I think you wanted her to do hot metal pro.
Yeah.
So we'll do that, and some other stuff, obviously.
Yeah.
Oh.
What's that?
No, I just saw like 8 questions came in at once. Gravity grip, Bandit's asking. We can do that.
Adele Irons, that's definitely we actually have we've just kind of been speaking to Adele. They're going to send us their fitting cart, their putter fitting cart. Cool. We're going to do some one length stuff with them.
Brandon was asking about a video idea that we do have note of. It's basically, remember I said we should do the best no upcharge shaft roundup. Yeah. So
love
Brandon,
to do that.
That is coming.
We'd love to do that.
We won't use the word stock though.
Philip, the Cobra stuff is. Matty's going to test a set of one length irons. I'll tell you exactly what it is.
Okay.
I can show you them. So there's from Johnny Hutzler. There's the heads. Ooh. You were shocked that there's going to be a hybrid at this 7-iron length.
I just didn't realize that it extended to the hybrid. Yeah. I knew there were one length. To be honest with you, I don't know what I thought. I for some reason thought the hybrids were not. 37 inch?
37.
I didn't think that was the case. Can't wait to see that.
Cool. All right. I think we're going to have to.
Yep. We're going to sign off. So throw more of those suggestions in the comments, please. A still game episode review. You should come in here before we start filming. That's
all we talk about.
Were you going on Beefy Bakes today?
Yeah.
Beefy Bake?
Pete the Jakey in his invention of the Beefy Bake.
The Jakey bastard. Yeah, that's so funny. Love that. kind of made me want a beefy
I
bake.
know,
To be
I know.
honest with you, when you were talking about it.
We were sitting
hungry.
eating this. We were eating these kind of chocolate croissant things, and they were kind of this flaky pastry. And was it you said this reminds me of that episode of Still Game or
you probably
something
brought
like that? I don't know.
I also asked you, how is it still flaky in the microwave? And then you went on about
That's
beefy
right.
bake. It's a proprietary technology of the beefy bake. Tons of ball testing coming, guys. I know a lot of you asked. Mizuno ball testing's coming.
Coming this week.
It's all coming. So we will see you live, not for 2 weeks, but you will see us in at least, I don't know, 5 or 6 videos or so.
Yeah, we'll be around.
It'll be a little thinner on release dates. We were like 1 a day last week. We won't be that frequent, but you'll have a steady flow. Flow of videos. All right.
Good.
We will see you guys in a couple weeks. Thanks for watching.
See you soon, guys. Thank you.